What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. My name's Kyle. In this video, it's a big trade day. It's Saturday, March 12th. Amari Cooper traded from Dallas to the Cleveland Browns, and it's not for a lot of draft capital at all. So here is the official agreement here. The Browns get Amari Cooper and a 6th-round pick. The Cowboys only get a 5th and a 6th. So in return, so that doesn't seem like a lot, but we'll dive into that. Again, Amari Cooper on the Cleveland Browns now and the Cowboys. So I guess what we're going to do in this video is I want to look at all the contract stuff. We'll look at the situation that the Cowboys and the Browns are in separately. And then I want to take a peek at the depth charts and just kind of figure out what made this trade go. And then I did see a little bit later, Chapter says, on the same day they agreed to trade for Amari Cooper, the Browns have also granted permission to Jarvis Landry to seek out a trade. So Jarvis Landry could be on the move, and we'll look at that a little bit later. Now, I think the main important thing with the Amari Cooper trade is, why did he only get a 5th and a 6th-round pick? It's because of the money. He's got 3 more years left on his deal, so 2022, 23, and 24. So 3 more seasons left on his deal. He's going to get paid $20 million for each of those seasons, which at the moment right now, that's kind of like what the franchise tag is, price tag is. So he's being paid as like a top 5 receiver, and the Cowboys had to make some decisions. They basically needed that money to improve their roster. So they feel like they can go forward with just CeeDee Lamb and a couple other players. And basically they wanted to take the money that they're going to give Cooper and spend it elsewhere on their cap list. So let's go ahead and look at this. This is the salary cap for the Cowboys, and their top, players here: DeMarcus Lawrence, Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, Tyron Smith, Lyle Collins, all these guys here. Dalton Schultz not getting the franchise tag there. But I wanted to show you first, where is this is the cap hits here, and I think before the trade the Cowboys were negative, and now they've freed up $19 million, almost $20 million worth, which is essentially what they're going to be paying Cooper. So now they have that roughly $20 million to go play and be a fun team to watch in free agency. So we're going to watch what happens there. There's also a potential Lyle Collins trade on the horizon for them. And what this does for the Browns actually went negative. They're in the negative cap. They're down about $3 million. And we'll look at them in a bit, but to add Amari Cooper to their books, now they're down $3 million, and I think that explains why they need to get rid of Jarvis Landry, because you pay one guy, you can't pay both. So we'll get into that in a second, but let's take a first peek here at Dallas. Again, we mentioned these guys all getting good money here, but Dallas, they need money to sign their guys. Look at all this is all the Dallas Cowboy players that are free agents from last year. You got guys like Michael Gallup, right here. Malik Hooker's a pretty decent safety here. Randy Gregory, you have Jaron Kearse, DeMonte Casey, a lot of defensive players here. Cedric Wilson, the kicker Greg Zuerlein, Leighton Vander Esch, Keanu Neal, Blake Jarwin. So the Cowboys have a ton of players that they needed cash to sign for. So they feel it's an addition by subtraction. Get rid of Cooper, you can put that money else back into the offense. So I get it. They didn't get a lot of capital for him, but again, just to get someone else to take that contract away from them, at least they got something for him. So that's kind of why they wanted to pay other players and not give Cooper that $20 million. Now, the Cleveland Browns, on the other hand, let me see here. Is this where we got? This immediately puts Amari Cooper as their highest paid player on their books right now, $20 million. Baker Mayfield's only just under 19. And then there's Jarvis Landry at 16.379, 412. So you have a guy here. They're paying 2 receivers, the top 3 players on their roster. 2 of them are wide receivers. You can't do that. So it's very likely that we see Jarvis Landry get moved, and that would then free up, you see here, the minus $3 million that they're down in cap. Getting rid of Jarvis Landry, getting him off their books, that's going to free up, put them positive about $13 million. So they could be a player in free agency with about $13 million to play with. So I'm interested there. That's kind of what this does. The whole deal is kind of just about money. So with all that kind of out of the way, again, this is just a quick video kind of just showing you guys kind of the why, the why behind this trade. But let's now take a peek at the depth chart. And we mentioned got free agents Gallup and Cedric Wilson. These guys need to be signed yet. I'm assuming they're going to pay Gallup. He can be a little bit more of a discount. because he's coming off of an injury and he's kind of had some up and down seasons the last 2 years. But they already paid Schultz, so Schultz is locked in here. Lamb's locked in. Zeke's locked in, and I think we're going to see more Tony Pollard. But it's about Gallup, Wilson. Maybe they draft another receiver here. They get a little bit extra help here. So I'm interested to see if they go after maybe not a big money receiver here, but they could add a nice third or fourth receiver to this offense. And of course, we're watching Lyle Collins as well. So the Cowboys depth chart for fantasy. CeeDee Lamb, man. CeeDee Lamb's the winner here. He's probably going to end up being like a late second round pick, I think, for 10 and 12 man PPR league. So CeeDee's going to get fed targets. And if Gallup signs and they don't bring another receiver besides Cedric Wilson, if it's just Gallup and Cedric Wilson, I like this offense. Cedric Wilson was a really good player last year, and I think if you're doing best ball drafts right now, Cedric Wilson's probably a guy that you want to put on your radar in the later rounds of the draft. But let's go look at Cleveland now. And Cleveland's very, very interesting. So Kevin Stefanski is their main coach there, the main offensive philosophy. And I kind of want to let's pull up Kevin Stefanski and see what he's been doing before he got to Cleveland. So he was the Vikings offensive coordinator in 2019. He was a longtime Vikings coach, I guess, going all the way back to 2006. So he's been with the Vikings for a very long time. So I'm just going to type in Viking stats, and let's go to Pro Football Reference. And I kind of just want to go back a couple of years. Let's go check out that 2019 season where he was the offensive coordinator. Kirk Cousins threw for 3,600 yards and 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. That was a big Dalvin Cook touchdown year. But looking at the receivers, I mean, Stephon Diggs had a big year, 1,100 yards. Adam Thielen was kind of injured throughout that season, but you can see Stephon Diggs, 94 targets, 63 receptions, 1,100 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Not saying that's what we should expect for Cooper, but basically I'm just looking at the team that Stefanski was on and what his receivers did. The year before that, Adam Thielen, massive year, 1,300 yards. Stephon Diggs, 1,000 yards. So I think as far as the Cleveland Browns trying to figure out who they want to be on offense, they want to have players that they throw the ball to and get some good stats, but they just have so many tight ends. That's the problem, is they have 3 really, really strong tight ends. This is the numbers from last year. No 1,000-yard receiver here. The closest was Jarvis. Actually, it was Donovan Peoples-Jones at 597. So they just kind of used too many players, and I think now assuming Landry's gone from this team and inserting Amari Cooper, he's got no competition for targets. I think Amari Cooper could have himself a really nice season. And here's the official depth chart right now. You got Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, and Kareem Hunt. And then here's your receiver room: Amari Cooper, Jarvis Landry, and Donovan Peoples-Jones. Again, I'm assuming they almost have to get Jarvis Landry out of there. I don't know if they're going to do it, or maybe they're going to have to renegotiate a contract for him. But at the moment right now, he is their number 2. And then Donovan Peoples-Jones, I think if you're playing best ball league, he's a guy worth drafting right now. And of course, Hooper and Njoku both paid as top tight ends, and Harrison Bryant, a really good tight end as well. So they're going to continue to use a lot of 2 and 3 tight ends for the most part. And Cooper, he kind of just needs, I guess, if you put Cooper and Donovan Peoples-Jones in a room, they maybe just kind of need a younger Jarvis Landry. They just need some kind of slot receiver. Maybe they draft one. Not sure what they're going to do. But for fantasy, I'm interested in Cooper. It really depends on when he goes, but I think he can be a wide receiver 3 for fantasy football. He's been a really fun player, and I just think he fits really well with what Baker Mayfield wants to do, and he can be the possession receiver that they've needed. I just want to go back to the 2020 Cleveland Browns. So Jarvis Landry, how did he do in that season? Landry had 100 targets, 72 receptions, 840 yards. So you're looking at easily like over 100 targets season for Amari Cooper. Whether that's 60 or 70 catches is going to be the question. And then, of course, 2019, Stefanski was with the Vikings. So we'll see here. I do think the ceiling for Amari Cooper is probably a top 25, top 20 wide receiver. Not super excited about the Browns passing game, but overall, it's been a fun NFL week here. It's Saturday, all the wild news that we've seen throughout the week here with the trades and whatnot. So a lot of fun going on right now. We still have to continue to watch and see if there's going to be any more trades. Free agency on Monday. Excited about that. We'll have some more reports for you guys, but that's all I wanted to do. Amari Cooper traded to the Cleveland Browns. If you guys are new to the Fantasy Fellowship, subscribe, like the video. That helps let other people know this is a good video to watch. So thank you for your time. Have a good rest of your weekend. Peace.